Sup YouTube, welcome back to another video documenting my journey to legend. Consider subscribing and leave a like if you enjoy the video. We're back at it again, this time in the Open Ultra League, rocking one of my favorite Pokemon. No, it's not Charizard, but also yes, Charizard's up there. Lapras. When I was but a wee lad, a young sprout growing up, I remember going into that Sylph building and getting Lapras from the scientist. And Lapras was like one of my favorite Pokemon from then on. I was like, oh my god, this Pokemon's so beautiful, it's so bulky, it's so strong. I thought, you know, it was my win con against Lance in the Elite Four. So if there's any other Lapras lovers out there, let me know. However, in Pokemon Go, Lapras doesn't seem to have that much play anymore. And so I really wanted to put together a team that I thought would be pretty strong. I wanted to give it a shot and see if this majestic sea creature, this Loch Ness monster, still has some play. And you'll notice some glaring core breakers to this team, and we'll get into how you play them. Before I get started with the battles, quick shout out to Zoom for supporting the channel. Thank you so much, man. It really means a lot. I see you in the comments all the time, and I appreciate the support. Without further delay, let's get into these battles. So, like I said, we're rocking Lapras in the lead for this first video. I leave this battle in because this battle was just chef's kiss. If this doesn't make you stick for the video, stick around for the rest of the video because most of these battles are actually like this. Again, we go pretty positive with this team. I think I also had about a 65% win ratio with it, and we managed to climb 100 ELO. Now, in the mirror, what do you think you do? You catch. But do you catch a Skull Bash or do you get creamed? No, we catch a double resisted move. And at this point, the tree has done its job. We CMP, which is the cherry on top. Seed Bomb won't do too much damage to a Lapras. It's already buffed itself. But, you know, this is a Surf. And I'm like, you know what, Tree? You've done good. And now I'm just hoping I didn't screw this up big time. So what am I going to do? I'm going to come back in with Lapras because I don't exactly want to tank any of this energy on the Charizard. And we do send off the Skull Bash. They don't shield. And what do they bring in? A Venusaur. And I'm like, okay, damn. I need a catch. Oh, we catch the double resisted again, and my opponent concedes the match. I'm so sorry, man. If that was you, GG's, bro. I was just going off a win condition. Daga bakayaro. Obstacle no mita toki. Nani yasuru? We cry. Honestly, if you see an Obstagoon, especially in the lead, considering we're ABA weak to it, yeah, it's pretty much GG's. I just try to get off as many Seed Bombs as I can. I try to CMP. If they're smart, they don't because they can survive and outpace you. And yep, and then you let the tree go down, you come in with Charizard and you pray. You pray that you have some sort of win condition in the back. However, I didn't run into a lot of Obstagoon. If you are, don't try this team because Obstagoon will clap your dreams. But if you don't, then try it. You know, give it a shot because this was actually putting in a ton of work. I do CMP on this next one. Lucky for me, they didn't get the boost all 5,000 times that they threw a Night Slash. They bring in their own Charizard. I'm just going straight for the Blast Burn. I'm either going to get a shield or damage. We get a shield, and then I bring in the Lapras. Unlucky for me, they have a Cresselia in the back, which kind of sucks. And I'm going to shield the first move because I'm going to go for the Skull Bash. And every consecutive Grass Knot will do less damage. That's what I think is my win condition at this point. And now I'm going to let this through because I feel like a Blast Burn will still do more than a Grass Knot, even though it's neutral. And now I'm just going to go straight Surf. I want to get off as much damage as I can, but it's not looking too good. You know, I'm doing the best I can, but Cresselia is bulky. I think it's bulkier than Lapras. And as nice as this catch is, I don't know if it's going to win me the match. Yeah, it's double resisted, but they have a move here. You could say maybe I should have shielded, but I don't know. I went for the Surf. And we're going to get to another Surf, right? Especially since they throw on poor timing. But a Surf, unless I was a Shadow, won't KO from this health range. And it's going to be a very, very sad all she wrote. Yeah, we get taken out. So yeah, Obstagoon is incredibly difficult. The reason I swapped Lapras into the back, though, was because of this giraffe-looking, not giraffe, actual thing. This is not how you should play it, right? You should not be the first one shielding. You should force your opponent to shield. But you also, well, you'll find out how I play this afterwards, and it gives you a lot better play against Ampharos, because Ampharos will, especially Shadow Ampharos, will take out the tree. So they try to catch. However, we have no shield, so you're about to see me get completely peeled. Goodbye, Charizard. It was nice knowing you. So yes, a grass type just clapped my fire type. I'm gonna farm to 100 energy. I'm gonna send off my massive shadow balls. And then we're gonna farm this Virizion down. In comes the Ampharos. We're gonna get off this seed bomb. But I don't think we're looking too good. A Brutal Swing does about like 70-ish percentage. And then they have Lurantis in the back. And even though we were ahead, like, right, we swapped in quicker. I'm just noticing that I'm not gonna outpace the Skull Bash. So I top left, I don't have Ice Beam. So, you know, a case could be made that you should be rocking Ice Beam instead. How do you play a Wall Rain lead? Because this is also pretty tricky. Well, I sack my tree. Again, I'm gonna go for the back-to-back seed bombs because with the Shadow Claws, it should be enough damage to KO it. So you'll either get the shield or win swap. We CMP, which is even better for us. This is like best case scenario. And we let the tree go down. Vaquero. And then I'm going to come in with Charizard and commit to an aggressive sort of farm. I'm going to tank one Icicle Spear because it doesn't do too much damage. And then I'm going to CMP or try to CMP on the next Icicle Spear. So now we are at like 5 energy, right? Something like that, or maybe 6. In comes a Muck. I'm going to just full send the Blast Burn since I have a shield advantage. They don't shield, and now I'm going to come in with LAPRAS. And what do they have in the back? A Heracross. And this isn't too bad, right? Like, all it has is Rock Blast, but I do have like a half health Lizard, and then this Loch Ness monster that is also now at half health. So I got to shield something. Even though Rock Blast is a horrible move, like, you got to start using your shields, right? We do go for another Surf, and lucky for me, they shield. And now I think I could just rely on Charizard, because I can definitely outpace to another Surf. They would have to throw. And I'm going to farm this thing down, and I'm going to outpace to a Blast Burn, and they know it, and so they top left. So that was a pretty good game. Nidoqueen, you don't see much more of this queen anymore. She has gone the way of Old Yeller. Niantic decided to clap her, and now she doesn't have as much play, which kind of sucks. But I don't know what my opponent is doing. I don't know what they're building up to. I think they were just waiting for me to throw, banking all that energy, and then bringing in the Walrus. I'm going to shield once because I don't want to take an Earthquake before I buff myself. But my opponent is a savage. They bait me with a goddamn Icicle Spear. Lucky for me, they don't shield the Skull Bash, which is great. And now I can let this go. How much does it do? Pathetic damage. Pathetico. And now I can just go for the Surf and commit to a sort of farm down. But my opponent is going to be insane with their counting. They're going to store an Icicle Spear, and then they're going to bring in the Goon. And this is pretty good for me, I think, as long as I can land a Blast Burn. I was thinking, unfortunately, for me, that I would CMP on their next Night Slash, but my opponent is too brilliant, way too smart for me. And now I'm going to try to CMP. Nope, not again. I don't think they were actually at it. I think I just didn't want to die with all this energy. They bring in the Queen. Lucky for me, or you know, like maybe lucky. They lost track of my energy, and because of that, I'm able to take a shield. I think I might have still have had this if they didn't, but it would have been a lot trickier. I let a Poison Jab go through there so that they can't catch, and fortunately for me, I do get the Surf off. I'm gonna let this Poison Fan go through, but this Nidoqueen has a butt ton of energy. If I wasn't able to get all that damage, oh my god, and they go for the Earth Power. So maybe I did need to throw the move. I throw the move immediately to win CMP against the Walrus, you know, because I knew that Shadow Claw would KO. But still, that would have been that was a tough lead. Maybe if they didn't shield, maybe if I timed my moves more correctly, I could have gone to a Blast Burn against the Queen before I went down. You know, taking a couple more resisted counters. So what do you do against a Charizard lead? Honestly, you kind of cry, especially if they stay in the lead, because then you know that they're weak to Charizard in the back. And so, you know, I start shielding at some point. I'm just going to go straight for the Blast Burn. I just want to get shields or get damage off. And luckily for me, they do shield. And now I'm just going to let Charizard go down and hopefully be able to trust in the Loch Ness monster. Actually, she's more like a Loch Ness beauty. She's such a beautiful Pokemon, man. I remember dreaming as a kid that I would be able to like surf the ocean on the back of this majestic Pokemon. So we're looking okay, right? There is a Cresselia, and they have Future Sight. which is not okay anymore. And a case could be made that I should have farmed way past 100 energy because that Shadow Claw is going to KO. And if I had farmed past 100 energy, I would still have all my health. Like a noob, I CMP here, but I was going to need that health because they would have only reached the Dragon Claw. And I was going to need that health in order to take the Backmon out. So I would have been capped over 100 energy, wasting like fast moves, but I would have had so much more health. And now this Sylveon is going to give me so much more of a headache. And I didn't know what the correct move was. I didn't know if it should have been 1 Skull Bash or 2 Surfs, because a Psyshock would have KO'd me if I didn't get off that Skull Bash, and I wouldn't have reached the 3rd Surf. So that was just a really, really tough game. That's a perfect lead. This is the incorrect swap, although you honestly don't really have a swap for Snorlax. Snorlax is probably the safest swap against this team, except for Obstagoon, if you have Obstagoon in the lead, which is kind of trash. However, they do bait me first, and then I'm going to go for the Skull Bash, which will now do much more damage. And I'm starting to see that because of their debuff, I will be able to flip switch. And I'd rather have the tree on Virizion than Charizard. But now in hindsight, maybe that was the correct play. You know, maybe I could have kept the Charizard on this, but I didn't want there to be another Mon that would completely counter the tree. And so it is a Wall Rain. So I send off a Seed Bomb just to force a shield. And now I'm just going to try to land a Blast Burn. I'm not going to bait. A bait is my lose condition. I need to land the Blast Burn or force a shield. I think I tried to CMP there. I'm not too sure. We do land it, and now I can just let Charizard go down. Yeah, Charizard has done his job. I can rely on the tree. And again, just like Jamie Fenn taught us, you don't bait, because otherwise you're not going to feel so great. We go straight for the Shadow Ball. Does our opponent call it? They don't. I see that research come through and I'm like, woohoo! Poliwrath. This is a pretty good matchup, I think, in my opinion. And what am I going to do? I'm going to tank an Ice Punch because we're in the Ultra League. We're a bit bulkier. I didn't figure it would do that much. I wait and somehow they still catch. Because like a noob, I didn't wait to see if the move went through. And now I'm just going to sack Lapras. I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm just going to let Lapras go. This is fine. I don't need to win swap. I don't care anymore. Everything is done. We do reach another Surf, and I believe from this health range, it should KO from here. So they do shield. And now I'm just going to come in with Charizard and tank some of this energy and still trust in the tree. Because that, I figured Charizard is a pretty solid response to the tree. I wasn't sure what they would have in the back, but I didn't figure it would be an Obstagoon considering they'd be ABA weak to Charm, but there are some mad lads out there. I lost track of energy. I didn't mean to tank that Blast Burn. I thought it was a Dragon Claw. But like a scrub, I get demolished. They come in with a Crest. I just need to get off this Blast Burn to do some really, really nice solid damage, and then I'm going to bring in the tree. And I think they have quite a bit of energy. But I'm like sort of counting, I think. I was going to commit to a farm down. I didn't want to double shield against this thing. And I don't know if my opponent overfarmed or if they were just reaching the move and I happened to get lucky. But now with a shield up, I will get to a Shadow Ball before they get to 2 moves. And we'll have this game. So that was a really, really clutch game. A clutch catch from my opponent. But we managed to still come back from it. So GG's, man. Damn, this is a long video. I think is a really, really solid team. So I'm hoping you're getting some benefit out of it. If you are, let me know down in the comments below. If you already clocked out by now, then, thank you. Thank you for staying as long as you did. Dragon Breath Giratina is not that comfortable. I try to make a catch. I do, which is pretty clutch. I think that's the only way that I would be able to come back from this. They have a Cresselia, god damn it. And I think I'm just going to commit to what I normally do. I'm going to shield the first move so that, oh wow, and it ends up being a Future Sight. So that the next move doesn't do as much damage to this bulky Lapras, which is already pretty bulky. And look, Cresselia tanks that Skull Bash like a queen, man. That does nothing to it. Future Sight still does a solid chunk of damage, and now I can just go straight Surf. I don't expect to win this match. which is fine. But what I'm really looking for is just to get some energy either on the Trev or on the Charizard. Another Future Sight doesn't KO. I wait until I'm like basically whittled down. I don't think I'm going to reach another move. And I don't. I barely don't get to that next move. But I do get to the Shadow Ball. And now if I can force a shield, then shield up Charizard should have a lot of play. I'm afraid of the Ancient Power, which is why I throw this. But it doesn't KO. In hindsight now, you know, maybe I should have just kept farming and tanked the move. But lucky for me, they have a Virizion and they won't outpace me. I just throw immediately because the Giratina doesn't have enough energy to get to anything. And I don't want to get clapped again like I did in the beginning. That would suck. Okay, another Charizard lead. What do? Immediate swap into my Charizard and I'm met with a Swampert. Oh, brother. I know in the Ultra League, I'm barely bulky enough to tank a Hydro from a non-shadow. So I'm going to throw and I'm going to hope that they let me build up to another Blast Burn because then we're in the driver's seat. They don't. So now I'm like, okay, aggressive ass farm down with Trevenant is my only win con and I'm hoping that they let me have it. I don't know how much energy they're at, but I think I was paying attention while I was recording the battles or playing the battles. They're only at a Hydro and they swap out. And maybe you could say that I should have thrown that Shadow Ball because I'm not really looking to tank a Blast Burn here, but I do correctly shield up the first one and I'm going to let the second one go through. I know it's going to hurt. It's going to hurt LAPRAS, but I need to save a shield for Trev. I figure because they hard swap, they have another answer to it in the back. So I'm hoping that it has some play with all that energy that it has. And Swampert's pretty gone. So that's also pretty good for me. Here they overfarmed. I don't know why they overfarmed. They gave me another win con, and so I took advantage of it. In comes the Walrein, freaking Muriel the Cowardly Walrus, and now I don't know if I will be able to kill it with a Seed Bomb. So I wait for the catch. I think they were like 1 or 2 away from a move. So I am glad I threw, but now I will outpace to the Shadow Ball, and that's what I go for. I think a Seed Bomb might have been enough from here, but we take that game. That was a really, really close game from a hard counter lead, hard counter swap. And now we have our own hard counter in the lead. They bring in a Giratina, which isn't really a response to us. I managed to catch a Dragon Claw somehow. I just wanted to build up a little bit of energy. And even though we're not rocking Ice Beam, the Ice Shards are really what are doing the damage here. You could argue that, you know, you could go for a double resist Skull Bash, but nah, I think Surf is the play. Just go for as many Surfs as you can. You don't have to win this swap. Giratina is a pretty hard counter to Trev, so I'm curious what they have in the back. I can barely get to another Surf, but again, it won't KO. And then I aggressive switch into Trev, and I am able to snipe them. They come back in with the Reggie. So now I'm pretty capped. I'm going to try to stay over energy in order to try to fend off whatever's in the back. Here I do get off my next Shadow Ball before I get the debuff because every Reggie gets the debuff. And I'm not going to shield a tree. They're not shielding. So I'm like, what the hell's in the back? I do get the debuff. In comes the Gramble. And now I'm like, oh, crap. Is 2 shielded Gramble going to like wreck my team? And we'll see what the answer is. I'll let you guys enjoy this. Ah, man, look at those charms chunking just about as much as my wing attacks are. But that gives me hope. I'm going to go for the Blast Burn. God forbid they call a bait, and then I'm screwed. And then I'm going to bait. And I'm really, really hoping... I'm seeing that Granbull get low. I'm hoping it doesn't cost me. It doesn't. They try to catch. I don't know what the hell I did there. And now I'm like, oh, crap. I hope that I can survive a charm to get off this goddamn move. 1 charm. The 2 charm just doesn't register. We're able to get to the Blast Burn, and we take that game. Oh my god, man. I was sweating. I almost threw that match. A perfect lead. A double. I figured, right? I swapped immediately because I saw the normal typing. I figured in my last matchup against Snorlax, I was like, god damn, I should have swapped in Charizard. But I was banking on the fact that because they swapped into the tree, unless they were 5-heading me, they didn't have Wild Charge. That's what I'm banking on. Here I thought they were at the back-to-back, so I throw immediately, allowing a free double kick in, which is kind of trash. But it does KO, so that's great for me. And they're going to come back in with the Tapu, I believe. Yeah, and just farm me down. And now our switch timers are back, so I'm just going to come in with the tree and commit to a farm down. And it's a Steelix. And hindsight, right? Like I should have swapped out immediately, but I was like, oh fuck, does Steelix beat Lapras? And I was like, oh yeah, it's a water type. And it doesn't really have any hard hitting moves unless it had like Thunder Fang. But it's got Psychic Fangs and Dragon Tail. And now we can CMP. Lapras wins CMP, which is crazy. And now we're in the driver's seat. They have used the shield? No, we're still 2 shields up. But all I need to do is get off a Skull Bash. Even though I'm debuffed, twice debuffed, mind you. I was confident the Lapras would survive this. And we do. You sexy, sexy man. No, I don't have a fetish. I just really like Lapras. And now 2 shields, there's nothing Tapu can do. By the time they get to, I don't know, 4,000 moves, we'll farm them down. This is how you should play the Ampharos lead. Don't build up to the Shadow Ball. You don't want them to shield. You got 2 Mons in the back that are weak to Ampharos. Body this Brutal Swing. Take it on the chest like a tree. And then go for your next C-Bomb on the CMP. God, so beautiful. And then force them to make a decision. And now I'm like, you know what? Does that look like 4 Ice Shards worth of damage? And I'm like, yeah, I think it does. I think it does. So I'm going to come in with Lapras, take 3 Volt Switches, 2, 3, they die with a move. What a play. And they have Swampert, and this gives me hope. You could argue I could have gone for the Skull Bash, but honestly, I'm just trying to chip this thing. I know that an Earthquake won't KO, so I'm just going for as much damage, and I'm going to trust in 2-shielded Lizard. Unless there's a Rampardos in the back, a Tyranitar, a goddamn Home Slice Bastiodon, there is no shot that something is taking out my Charizard of 2 shields. We go for another, they bait, right? Because why, man? Why did you bait? They let that go through. I see the Charm, and then I bring in the Lizard and their Chicken Gizzard. We go straight for the Blast Burn. No need to bait. It does all the damage, and they concede the match. So that was a pretty great game. Oh man, another Charizard lead. How do we lose this? Immediately. They're not swapping out. I'm like, ah, shit. They have an Obstagoon in the back, don't they? I'm gonna tank that burn because I'm feeling like a baller. And then I'm gonna send off my own Blast Burn, hoping they don't shield. They don't, but they're gonna flip it. And, you know, Charizard's pretty low, so I'm figuring, all right, I'm just gonna come in. I'm gonna get some Shadow Claw damage. That's gonna be my win con. Whatever's in the back, I just need to pray. What do they bring in? The Buffoon! And we're gonna end this video on a loss. I'm sorry, guys, but again, what do we run into? Like 2, 3 Obstagoons? Obstagoon in the back, sort of manageable. Obstagoon in the lead, claps this entire team. And Obstagoon, shiny Obstagoon, when you only have 2 Mons weak to it, is gonna decimate this team. So I figured, okay, I've gotten it pretty low. I can probably come in with Lapras and Ice Shard this thing down. They got Koba the Lion, and I concede the match. There's no coming back from that shit. We did still manage to go 4-1 in that team, or in that set. And again, Obstagoon was our only demise. We did make it to 2,300, so we did climb 100 points with this team. I think this team is really strong. If you're around this ELO range, try it. I assure you, you won't regret it. Or maybe you will. I don't know. Maybe if you're running into a lot of Obstagoons from God at the game, you might start to cry. Lapras does require an elite TM for the Ice Shard. I don't think you need Ice Beam though, so you'd only need 1 elite fast TM. Charizard is a community day mon. Don't elite TM it. Honestly, just wait for the mon. You could always swap it out for something else, or just create a different team. But I think this team was pretty solid. If you have the mons available, definitely give it a shot. And I will catch you in that next video. Peace.